You gotta explain.
Okay.
You might be right,
okay, let me tell you.
It's not to its full on potential.
Something's wrong with the pistons. The pistons.
It's not pushing right.
Well, anytime
It's supposed to be in superheated vapor.
when you learn something, even if you get the right answer, you got it. Just like when we talk about restriction.
Okay, I'm gonna tell you what it is.
Why it frees up. Tell me why it frees up.
There's liquid going across the compressor. There's liquid going on the other side, so there's something wrong with the compressor. There's liquid. Okay, there has to be liquid coming on the other side of the compressor. I can't explain it, but there has to be liquid coming out on the other side of the compressor.
All right, there's two reasons, right? I mean, remember that your suction side of the compressor is part of the body of the compressor. So if you slugging back to the compressor bad enough, it could cool down your, remember now you're supposed to be pumping pure vapor. Now you have a lot of liquid in the compressor.
Super heated vapor.
You know, that gas ain't flashing that much if it's partial liquid, partially vapor. So you could have two problems going on. You could have a bad problem with flooding back to the compressor, or you could have bad valves on the compressor. So now when the piston go up to compress, it's leaking through the valve, so it don't get to compress the freon the way it should.
So you're getting liquid.
In that case, you're going to have a higher than normal suction pressure too. So it could be bad compressor, or you could be slugging back liquid to the compressor bad enough for it to have
Okay,
that
so I
problem.
didn't explain it that way.
That's what I said. I said the pistons.
I've never seen a compressor with bad pistons yet.
But it's like there was liquid.
Yeah, I've never seen a compressor with bad. I have never seen a compressor with bad pistons. It's always the valve.
I'm gonna keep that in mind.
Something like
When I go on a job and I find that, I'm gonna call you.
Because the only thing I see happen to compressor is either the valves go bad or it's ground out. Or it's locked up. But I never see the pistons go bad. I never see, nobody ever tell me that, hey,
Because you said that.
crankshaft on the compressor.
You just put bad luck on us. We're gonna go on a job and that's what we're gonna
So
find.
we can say it's flooding the compressor?
Somebody in here is gonna experience that
If your
problem.
discharge line is warm, it could be from the compressor slugging back liquid. But remember, the liquid go inside the body of the compressor, and then when it open the suck in to compress, if it's partially liquid, then it's not going to do the compression it's supposed to. Or if your valve is leaking through, then when it goes down to compress, it's not closed.
But I think that's what he meant by pistons.
Yeah. But like I said, when you're learning something, you got to learn how it works internally, not just guess and say, yeah, it's a compressor, but why?
I don't know how to fix it.
Yeah, but
Change your compressor.
I'll go up there and I'll be like, all that,
$700 compressor.
You go up there, you feel the lines is warm back and
yeah,
forth.
but
Change the compressor. That's
when
it.
you're out in the field,
It's supposed
half of getting your money is explaining to the customer in a way that they can
No, come on,
understand.
Mr. Gibson.
You know?
If I tell a customer it has bad pistons, she's gonna say, oh, does it?
I went on a refrigerator today. I charged the lady $80, right? I went. First thing I did was open up the evaporator section, and I saw that it didn't have a complete frost pattern. So that's the way you estimate if a refrigerator is working, right? First thing you do is open it up and look at the frost pattern of the coil. If it got a complete frost pattern, then that means the compressor and everything is running good. If it don't have a complete frost pattern, now you have to check to see if it could have bad valves on the compressor, or it could be low on freon. Now at that point, I have to put a valve on the compressor to determine which one it is. So when I put my valve on the compressor and put on my gauges, if my low side pressure is up like 10, 25, 30, I know it's bad valves on the compressor. Because it's 134A and the compressor works as a freezer, you should have like 5 PSI. When it's fully charged, you got about 5, 7 PSI on the low side. Now if I put on my valve and then I'm in a vacuum, I know it's low on freon.
Yeah, what's the ideal pressure for 134A?
For a freezer, you're
High
going to
side,
be
low
about 5 on the low side, you know, or
What about the high side?
5 or 6 PSI
On the
low
high side?
On the high side? Something like 150 to 180, something like that.
That's on the refrigerator.
Yeah, so like the job I did today, you know, I put on my gauges, my low side was up like 25, 50, so I told her it's time for her to get a new refrigerator, you know. But,
What was the problem?
She was complaining that it was on, it would still freeze ice, but ice cream and stuff like that, with sugar and stuff like that, it wouldn't freeze. Because she wasn't getting the full frost.
So you mean to tell me that your service call was $80?
Yeah. And she's a customer of mine, so I saved her some money. Usually I would have charged more because I had to put on a valve on it.
Your service call, $80 to tell her, I'm sorry, ma'am, but you can have to get a new refrigerator.
Put enough valve on that?
Which one?
No, because,
What do you think?
You couldn't fix it?
remember, a refrigerator don't come with no valve. So
Yeah.
if it got a problem, you
gotta
can't put
put
gauges
valves
on it.
Yeah.
Like a window air conditioner don't have any valves on it. So certain sizes, like when you get bigger window units, you have valves. But so if you at that point when you pull the coil and you look at the frost pattern is going to tell you if it's a freon problem or if you got a full frost pattern, then there's no problem with your freon or the compressor. But if you got a partial frost pattern, then now you have to put on valves to determine if it's bad, if it's a bad compressor or low on freon. So when I put on my valve and put on my gauges, my pressure was like up around 50 on the low side.
Why do you put that valve
They have two kind of valves.
on the one you self-tapping?
Yeah.
Yeah, they got the self-tapping one, or they sell one that it come like this, and you put it over the copper line like this.
Yeah.
And then you use your pliers and crimp it around, and
Tighten
you
it.
braze it,
Oh, yeah.
and shut it going around. Then you put the valve on and pierce it.
Yeah.
That one is nice. That one is more like a permanent.
One on top of it.
Yeah, it's like, that one is real and reliable. You know what I'm saying? So you ain't gonna break no leak. If you braze it onto the copper, then you punch the hole in it. You know?
Better hope you punch the hole right. Because I did that shit on the refrigerator one time. It wouldn't punch through. I'm like, what the
No,
fuck?
that one you're talking about is the one that you use the 2 Allen screws. Very tight.
You on the inside?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You braze it onto the.
Yeah, he's talking about just like when you do the sprinklers,
Yeah,
it
the
comes
one-
like this. This one that goes just on the sprinklers,
Yeah.
it comes just like that, and then you pierce it, and then you got a T on it.
But with this one, you put it over the copper.
Yeah, just like
You
that.
braze it, and then you put the pin in there, and it comes with a little O-ring, and then you tighten it down and pierce the copper. and
Yeah,
stick.
just like the 134 can. You like that pierce.
Oh, all right.
Break time.
Yeah, but question, what's the frost pattern? All right, say like this your evaporator, right? When you're fully charged and your compressor is running good, the whole thing is gonna have frost on it, right? Now when you open up the core